legislator Nicoletta. Okay, Mr. Arnold.
Kenneth Arnold, Public Works. B1 is a bid contract for the removal of storage tank at the Manhasset Garage associated with the stormwater system and the installation of a new 500-gallon stormwater tank. There were 5 bidders, and Franklin was the lowest responsible bidder.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. Mr. Arnold, I just wanted to confirm, this $10 million bond, when was this authorization passed? I'm sorry, this $10 million, this contract was part of what bond authorization? And when
The
was
most recent one, the $10 million bond ordinance.
Was this the one that was passed in October?
Yes.
I was under the impression that NYPA didn't approve that bond.
They approved it pending the multi-year plan being approved. And once the multi-year plan was approved, then they approved.
So they approved the entire $50 million? Or just this $10 million?
This is only $10 million.
No, but it was part of that $50 million bond. If I understand this correctly?
It was along with the traffic projects at that time.
And I'm just want to make sure. So the 10 million, the 10.6 million has gone before NYPA, and NYPA has said that it was approved as long as we approve the multi-year plan.
Yes.
And the remaining 40 million is still subject to.
No, I think I'd have to double check, but I believe all the bonding was contingent on the multi-year plan being approved at that time.
Okay.
Not just the 10 million.
Okay, no, I understand. I mean, from our standpoint, and I've been said this very publicly, that bonding was done at a very late hour where there wasn't proper public discourse, nor the public being properly notified, and just based on the fact of lack of transparency, we're going to vote against it. But thank you, Mr. Arnold.
Legislator Nicoletta.
Mr. Arnold, why are they replacing the tank?
They're out of compliance with the EPA. As part of our consent order, we have a lot of tank work to do throughout the county. This is one of the facilities that we need to address.
Why are they out of compliance, and what does that mean?
Fuel storage tanks have a certain date range that they're allowed to be in service, and these tanks were past that date range and need to be removed and replaced.
So if you leave them in the ground and they're past their useful life, there's a danger that they can leak, correct?
That's correct.
All right, so then you have an environmental issue possibly that results from leaving these storage tanks in the ground beyond their useful life.
That's correct.
Okay. Obviously, environmental issues were brought up before, but I think this is a very important environmental issue as well. So I would urge all my colleagues to vote for this, rather than leave a potentially dangerous condition in the soil.
Any other comments from the legislators? There being none, any public comment? There being none, all those in favor of B117 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
The item passes 4-3. The next item is E317, a personal services agreement between the County of Nassau acting on behalf of the Nassau County District Attorney's Office and the Hispanic Counseling Center, Inc. Motion, please. Moved by Legislator Capel, second by Legislator Nicoletta. And?
Hi, Vicki Cordova from the DA's office. The item before you is an agreement with the Hispanic Counseling Center to conduct the Batterers Intervention Program. This is a program designed to address the problem of domestic violence by providing education and counseling to change the behavior of those who commit domestic violence and to provide services to those who are victimized by it. The goal of the program is to offer individuals an opportunity to change learned behaviors by teaching them about legal, social, emotional, and psychological implications of their behavior on family members. The program offers assessments, information, and referrals to appropriate health and/or social service agencies. Hispanic Counseling Center is the only agency in Nassau County licensed by the state of New York to provide mental health and substance abuse treatment to an entirely bilingual bicultural in an entirely bilingual bicultural setting. Hispanic Counseling Center has been in operation since 1977 and presently serves more than 1,300 people each month. This program is funded with forfeiture funds and therefore has no impact on county general funds.
Legislator Nicoletta.
I don't think anyone's going to vote against the Hispanic Counseling Center to provide this service. But why, I see that the term of the contract is July 1st, 2016 to June 30th, 2017. So my question is, why is it 7.5 months late?
I believe the initial problem was that the and it's also a renewal contract. The previous forms that they had were outdated, and they unfortunately had to be redone and then resubmitted.
Okay. Well, just my suggestion, and this is the DA's office, and there's a number of county contracts coming up that are late too. But my suggestion is, since it expires on June 30th, 2017, that you get to work on the successor contracts, so you get to bring it to us before June 30th, 2017.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Legislator Capel.
So these
sorry.
these are selections made by the DA and executed by the county exec on behalf of the DA's office. Is that how it works?
Yes, yeah.
How many other organizations do this for? I'm not talking about specifically Hispanic, but overall. You know?
I have.
Is this a big program? Is it a widespread program? Is it a program that's confined just to this particular organization?
I honestly don't know. I don't know the answer. I can find out for you. And
Could you please find out for me? I'd like to know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other legislators? Legislator Solagis.
My question, I guess, is if a person speaks Haitian Creole, can they get the translation service or the benefit of that through the Hispanic Counseling Service?
Again, something I wouldn't be aware of. I really don't know.
Okay. Because I've seen in other counties that because Haiti is located in Hispaniola or Latin America, that they're able to get translators as well for that population, and then there is a need there as well here in Nassau County. So if perhaps your office or another office could help follow up on that, I would really appreciate that, because we do have a very sizable Haitian American population here in Nassau County. Thank you.
Okay, I can check into it and have someone get back to you.
Any other comments from the legislators? Any? Legislator Nicolau.
Yeah, just to follow up on Legislator Solagis, I would just urge, if it can't be done within the context of this current year, that you prepare something for the year beginning in June 30th, so that the next contract can anticipate and have that service available to Haitian-speaking, Creole-speaking population.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bipartisan, working together. I love it.
Okay, any public comment? There being none, all those in favor of E3?
Aaron Lopez Watkins.
Aaron, you got something on this one?
Yes, I do.
Oh, please come up, Aaron. It's nice to see you again.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, you have a job to do, you know that.
I do have a job, but I also
Okay.
have a job for you guys to do as well. First of all, I would like to thank the leadership of this caucus, of these caucuses, in coming out in a bipartisan support for the buses. I think it's huge that we got both sides of the aisle and both sides of the county to come together for more than 2 minutes and say, yes, we all support the same thing. But when we are trying to move forth projects like this and reaching communities that don't always get the services they need to be able to get there. So let's talk about the buses, because that's why I'm here. First of all,
You have to tie it up, but you
Tie it
have
up.
to
I got 3 minutes.
Tie it together.
so
All right, tie it with this contract.
this,
All right, I'm not going to say no to you, but you better be able to
Of
connect.
course. We're talking about the Latino community, we're talking about the Haitian community, two of my communities. Those communities utilize the bus. Right now, we're about to hit, coming Thursday, cuts across Long Island on the buses. We can't let that happen. Right now, there's still a $6 million deficit in Nice Bus's budget. Although they've cut overhead, although they've managed to cut costs here and there, they're still planning on cutting these routes. Right now, I know that the county has an $11.9 million surplus in sales tax revenue. A portion of that money needs to go to the buses. If we can just fill $3 million, I think it's a lot easier to get the state to come in and give us emergency aid. On top of that, the city is trying to circumvent Nassau County and trying to undermine the power and the responsibility Nassau County legislators have to our residents, to us. By getting this the Uber legislation put forth without getting any of the municipalities' money sent back, give me a second. We are going to lose our buses. We're looking long-term. We can't keep providing services to underserved communities if they're not going to be able to get there. If these victims of domestic violence don't drive, or if they need to get away from an abusive spouse or partner and they don't have a car, they can't be left at the side of the road because their bus was cut and they couldn't get there. We need a long-term funding plan for our buses, which starts today with trying to get an additional $3 million from the surplus of sales tax. It's getting this Uber money sent back to Long Island, both Nassau and Suffolk, and it means that you, as this legislative body, need to up the amount of money we give Nice Bus. $2.5 million is not enough to run a substantial, strong, and growing system. It's just not going to work. It's great that we've got contracts like this on the table. It's great we're trying to provide as many services to as many people as possible, but if they're not drivers, we're leaving them out in the cold. Not everyone in Nassau County drives, and I bet if you polled the people that are going to be utilizing that center and centers like it, they're not drivers. So please, as much as we've got a job to get the riders out and talk to our senators, you have a job to talk to your senators, because I can tell you right now, the Republicans in office as senators don't like me. They think I'm loud, they think I'm obnoxious, and they think I'm rude. So I please, at my behest, I beg that you call your senators and you tell them that these buses are not just for Nassau, they're not just for Suffolk, they're for all residents, and we need this money. Thank you.
And Aaron, before you leave, you had a job to do when we left that forum on, I forgot what date it was, but March 22nd, there's a coalition going to Albany. But I think I had said something to you.
We've got letters, they're being signed.
You need letters.
And I will be sending it out to everyone on the caucus as well. And I would like some feedback, because some legislators get back to me, most don't. So I will send that email to all of your offices tomorrow. If you want to send pictures of you signing that letter to us, and we'll post it, we'll blast it, we'll do whatever you want.
But you gotta get those who are impacted by this to write letters.
That's not going to be a problem, Norma. It's not going to be a problem.
Now, I'm off the topic. Okay, I'm not gonna